Joining us on the line now from Ireland is Michael Doherty. He's an internationally respected pioneer in the field of healthcare, whose therapy is credited with the recovery and full health of Michael Flatley. He's holding a one-day seminar at the Kempinski Hotel on the Costa del Sol on Saturday, the 4th of Feb. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you indeed.
Hi. Thanks for joining us. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, great. You know, it's the important thing is that we have to have a positive outlook in life, no matter how doom and gloom the economic situation is.
Yeah. Do you think that really makes a difference, having a positive outlook?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, the important thing that I've discovered, for the last couple of years is that a lot of people are finding it very difficult out there with regard to the stress associated around the worry of not having a job or maybe losing their job, and that's affecting their relationship, it's affecting their health, and we know this quite clearly from the statistics with regard to the amount of admissions to hospitals and the increased prescription of antidepressants and sleeping pills. And, that's definitely not the road to go down for people. And what I have done here in Ireland and what I've done in the UK is that I've got groups of people together and taught them how to work with their own stress. And it might not pay their bill, and it might not, and certainly will not pay their bill or pay their mortgage, but what it does, it helps them to cope with the stress around the present climate that exists economically. And at least if we can cope with that and deal with what we can deal with, at the very least we can override and overcome these problems, at least with good health.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So how do you explain what it is you do in terms of the healing and therapy side of things?
Yeah, well, Hannah, look, it's over 22 years ago when both Tom Griffin and I brought this to Ireland and indeed to the UK and to the US of A. And it was something that we had studied internationally, and we studied in former Yugoslavia at the time, was Croatia, would be Croatia now. And what was established then, and to give your listeners an appreciation of it, what was established that 30 years ago was, and for thousands of years, was that the body basically is made up of energy. So that what keeps us alive basically is this energy that flows through us. And basically, if that energy becomes imbalanced, we basically become ill. Now, the science of this is very well established. Professor Valerie Hunt, Professor Nornison of Sweden, I could go on and go on, but it would lose the listeners. Basically, that, what we think, what we feel, what we perceive, what we experience in our environment, our worries, our stresses, that this first affects our electrical or energetic system. When it affects our electrical or energetic system, our biology, our biochemistry takes that on. So what we do in our clinics is over a period of 4 days for 45 minutes each day, we take people in and we work with the energy system of the body. We have developed specific techniques to balance the energy system of the body. First, to check to see where the energy is blocked and the energy flow is blocked. And then once we get the energy flowing, and people feel this, they often sense heat, tingling, different coolness, different sensations. It's not necessary. But once they feel that, then we proceed from there to put a proper dietary program into place, to look at if there was some skeletal work or muscular work. But we basically look at all of the body, the mindset, the emotions, and we put programs into place then for those patients, depending on what it is that they're suffering from.
Okay. And what normally happens after these 4 sessions?
Well, the whole idea, you see, Hannah, is that people would take the program on that we would give them. So, for example, just to give a little, a simple sort of explanation on this, that if somebody comes into our clinic who are very stressed, they're stressed at work because of the pressure, or they're stressed at home because they may have a child that has some disorder, or some member of the family might be ill. People don't realize exactly what happens to the body when you're continuously in a stressed situation. What happens is that at the very least, we all know the stress reaction. Our muscles are going to tighten. Our digestive system is going to shut down. We're going to get headaches. But what happens biochemically is that the body is going to become depleted on zinc and B6. So when it becomes depleted in zinc and B6, what happens in our body cannot convert the food, the tryptophan foods that we're eating, into serotonin. Once we've depleted in serotonin, which is the mood stabilizer, which is the one that lifts our mood, then it can't convert to melatonin at night, so we can't sleep. So that's why people feel tired, can't sleep, feel a little bit depressed or stressed, end up taking the antidepressant or the sleeping pill. And of course it leads to huge amount of problems like the digestive problems, the headaches, the irritable bowel type syndromes and all that kind of stuff. So what we do is we engage people in that process. So when they finish the 4 days or after this seminar, what we would want is for people to take the knowledge, the skills, the tools, the techniques that we would teach them, take them away, implement them into their lives, and absolutely they would have a much better quality of life, a much better control over their situation. Because the real key to this is that people need to realize that they can influence what's going on in their lives. No matter any of your listeners right now, no matter what your situation is, whether it's something like multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's, whether it's something like depression or high cholesterol or anxiety or digestive problems or arthritis, the most important thing is if you're given the proper knowledge, the understanding as to why it is you have it, given the program that you can implement to bring about changes in your lifestyle and dietary habits and all that, you can improve your quality of life immensely, Hannah. And that's the whole idea. Make people self-sufficient. And if they did need some more treatment, then we would administer more treatment. But it's on the basis that these people are taking responsibility for their own health.
So are you teaching different techniques to different people depending on their condition and their age and everything else, or are the techniques the same?
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, the techniques generally are the same, but depending on the condition, then we have developed specific techniques relevant to those particular conditions. So, for example, if you have somebody coming in that we would see with diabetes, that has a acute circulatory problem or whatever, then there are specific techniques to activate that circulation and to look at the patient's diet and the patient's attitude. If you have a child, a baby that's coming in that has colic, for example, this all stems from, because, you know, we know that if children or if anybody goes through any degree of shock or stress, or if the transfer of flora from the mother to the child isn't right, then we know the child could end up with colic symptoms, the bacteria becomes damaged, that affects how the child processes its food, that can cause upper respiratory problems, sinus-type symptoms, nasally-type problems, and indeed eczema. So the thing is, we then devise a specific program around that. If people have cardiovascular problems, we look at that. And I would work with a certain amount of medical people and other therapists as well that I feel would be necessary. One of the key things particularly around illness, Hannah, is this. You know, a lot of people get diagnosed with different types of problems, and the stress. Society is not educated to understand the stress, the anxiety, the fear, the worry that people experience when they are diagnosed with particular type problems. So it's very important that we educate people to work with their emotions, how to deal with those fears and anxieties. That if somebody says, well, look, you have MS or you have Parkinson's, this is where you're going down the road, or your child has cystic fibrosis or something like that, and this is for your child, the huge fear around that for parents is real. And we have developed specific skills to teach people. So, yeah, it's a quite complex, comprehensive healthcare programs that we have and that we put into place for these individuals.
So on the seminar here on the 4th of February, what can people expect to get out of the seminar?
The whole idea is to educate people around what I've just been talking about with regard to understanding their mindset, understanding their emotions, understanding their dietary situation, understanding the energy system. Most importantly, giving them skills to be able to work at home with their own mindset, with their own energy system, to help them to understand how they can deal and transform their emotions. Because this stuff eats away at us. So when they come in on that day, we're going to, my partner Tom Griffin is going to be talking about the history of where we've come from and looking at the whole area of special needs and the different types of problems that people go through and kids go through with learning difficulties. And of course we have a nutritionist, Claudia Norris, who's coming in. She's eminent in her field. She teaches this in London. She's going to be talking about the diet and nutrition. She will be giving people information to take away with them for dietary changes. I'm going to be talking to them about their energy body, how the energy system functions. I'm going to be talking to them about how it is they can use their mind to influence their own biology. And the thing is that if they go away with these powerful tools, skills and techniques and awareness and knowledge that we give them, there's absolutely no doubt that the investment that they will make in this will be well worth their while. And this is what society is waking up to now. Society needs this right now to help them to confront the problems that are existing within our society.
And I'll give out the details, the phone number, if people want to get more information or about the seminar on the 4th of February. But before we let you go, just wanted to ask you a little bit about Michael Flatley and what you did for him. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, absolutely, there's no problem. I mean, I think it's well documented, and if anybody goes on my website, www.justimagine.ie, they will see it. The thing is, as everybody knows, Michael is he's an international superstar. He has, he created River Dance and, of course, Lord of the Dance, and brought, the Irish dance to the world attention, and obviously Michael basically burnt himself out and put himself under huge pressure to achieve the success and recognition that he's achieved. And, with the type of pressure that he was under and the amount of energy that he expended in his shows, and anybody who would have seen his shows would see that it's very evident that the amount of energy he expends and the audience feels that it was going to inevitably have an effect. And basically it does. I mean, a lot of people go through this, that eventually the body gets burnt out, and Michael had seen 50 medical doctors, he had 200 medical tests, and they could find nothing wrong. They couldn't tell him what was going on, and basically he had the best medical treatment in the world, but nothing could happen. And he became aware of what I do, and contacted me, and I started working with him. And really, from the very first day, as he outlined himself in many of his TV programs and newspaper articles, that it literally changed his life. And as everybody knows, Michael came back and has a sold-out tour, and is back to full health again, which is absolutely fantastic. And so it's great. And the great thing about Michael is that he's such a gentleman, because I would work with a lot of high-profile individuals, but for Michael to come forward and say, this really made a difference in my life, it brought huge attention to it internationally, all over the world. We now have people flying in from America, from Africa, from the UK, USA, and even Spain. So we see the need now, based on even just what Michael did. We just see the need to get out there and give this message to people, because what we want to do in Spain, basically, Hannah, is we want to teach people how to do this. So when people come in on the day, on the Saturday the 4th, we are going to talk with the people who want to train as therapists and make this available for the people in Spain, which can be absolutely fantastic. And Gillian McClafferty, who's one of our trained therapists who's out there, is doing some great work. So, I mean, the whole idea is to bring this to Spain. But Michael Flatley is a great champion of our work.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. Well, if people want more information, as you said, Michael, the website www.justimagine.ie. They can get more information about you and the treatment and the work you did with Michael Flatley on the website.
Yeah, and they can contact Gillian then as well, Gillian McClafferty as well, which is important. She's handling everything out there, and she's one of our trained therapists, and she understands everything that's going on. And I think you have her number as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Gillian's number is 664-561-773. That's 664-561-773. And the seminar taking place at the Kempinski Hotel on Saturday, the 4th of February. Michael, thanks ever so much for coming on the show.
It is indeed my pleasure, and thank you very much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
Not at all. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.